Hi there, this is Fierce Tiger. I was going to start or continue painting Star Saga miniatures, but I've done some reorganization. They're in the garage right now, unfortunately, and packed away. So, me and my friend Mike have been played one game of Secrets of the Lost Station. I am going to paint the four characters that we are playing in that game. I will be getting back to the Star Saga miniatures, but for now, doing Secrets of the Lost Station. It's by Everything Epic. It is a space adventure game where characters level up by going on space missions. This is one of the characters. He is the main pilot, I guess, and his name is Jack Holden. He is pretty much all in silver, so it should be easy to paint. A lot of chromy, shiny, metallic colors would be appropriate. And I also playing this character called Feonix. She looks like she has a lot of metal on her costume with red tinges. Her hair is even red, it looks like. There we go. Let's put those two right there so you can see them. My friend Mike is playing Nakatomi. I knew he'd like this character just from the name. He's dressed in a trench coat, so to speak, kind of glitzy. Has little blue highlights, fluorescent blue highlights. His other character is Balthazar. He is a draconian. Doesn't seem to carry a lot of armor, just sort of knee pads and arm braces. Uh, he is mostly a gray greenish color, it looks like. So those are the characters we're using. There's two other characters that are available, Cassiopeia and Selena. I do have the miniatures right here. These are the way they look like when they're unpainted. Just unpainted, unprimered. That's Selena. I think we'll start with Jack Holden. They all seem to use or need black undercoat. Primer that I used was a dark brown. So this is where I keep my wet palette. Though it's not wet at the moment, but that's what I use for a paint palette. Even though it's not wet at the moment. See, oh, as you can see, I'm totally organized. Not today. Just not today. I just decided it was necessary to, not necessary, but I'd like to do another video and I was gonna do Star Saga, but these were available, easily available to me. Grabbing my paints right now. We can use this to hold the miniatures. Here's some black, adamantium black. Sounds pretty good. Sounds like it might have a silver sheen to it. Spilled a little bit of water there. Oh, I just remember where my paints were. They were in the top of the paint palette container. Hmm. Don't know why it had blue in there. Anyway, I use a straw to when I have a water bowl or water cup. I just use a straw to get a little bit of water out. It's all so that I get some more or less clean water, even though there's a little blue tint to it. I haven't really haven't really mixed that blue in yet. This is what I got, a variety of paints. That's I think I use a number one there. That seems to be the biggest one I got for spreading around. I have some bigger ones, but they're kind of old. And as I showed there, there's bigger one. I have big ones, but they're long. All right, let's open this up and see if it'll grab the base. Having a little bit of difficulty here. These screws are getting in the way, and these rubber bands aren't as stretchy and strong as they used to be. Oh, slipped out because the screws are pushing up on the bottom of the base. And the base itself is not beveled. It seems to be straight up and down. But it seems to be holding. Let's see how that works. Come on. Oh, this is it's clogged up. See if I can. Do I need to unclog it? Oh, there's some wet. There we go. Wet it up. Put some paint down. Oh, that seems to work. I think I got enough though, or at least to get started. See how it looks. Gonna try to uh, really thin it out. Let's look at this sky here. Need it around his neck, apparently. Or at least it's dark around his neck. Oh yeah, this paint is kind of silvery. Oh, all right, we're just gonna glob it around. Looks pretty dark. I don't. What I want to start off with is for a base is just a black. Don't really want that silver color just yet. We want the silver to be on the top, not on the underneath. Let's see. I'm looking through my paints right now. I got purple shades and dark purple. Walnut brown. Looks black to me. Let's see what else I got in here. Well, I have this other set made by Duncan Rhodes, and I know it has black in there, but I I just want to get going here and use what I got right now. Here's black and brown. Maybe that'll work. Sounds better than walnut brown. Well, let's keep going and see what we get here. All right, found some black. How much area requires black for him in this drawing? I guess this will be all right. This color. His armor's silver anyway. Hmm. This bottle seems to be clogged a bit. Let's try taking a look here. Oh, that should be enough paint. Just got to water it down a little bit. I thought it was really dried up, but it's still wet on the inside. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of these other ones. Yeah, that walnut brown has it's almost black. Do his hair to give it a base. He has dark hair, so I'll give it a base coat of dark color. Try not to get his face too much, or at least no over brushing onto his face. These sections in here look like a little bit of muddy brown, maybe. It's alright. These sections are really small and tiny. These miniatures are almost true scale. They're not real bulky like other brands that are big chunky arms and heads and legs. Hmm. Okay, that's a good start there for the dark areas. let's do another one. Ah, this little miniature holder's not as good for these as the ones that have a beveled base. Okay, and this is Feonix. Interesting way they spell it. A lot of gray metal metallic uh, pieces to her outfit with red highlights. But right now I'm going to just do the dark in areas that look kind of dark or that would have a dark shade to them. Like around the neck, around the chest area, you can see how it's darker. And mostly the joint areas. Oh! Like I said, this miniature holder is just not. Okay, let's try the tacky glue, or the tacky stuff. Maybe that might work a little better. I have to go get a. I have this little rod, 1 inch rod. I could probably put the miniatures on, but this is handy right now. This paint stick with tacky stuff on it. You can see how the arms are real thin, and the head's small compared to some of the other miniatures that we've seen. Make sure you try to get the undersides really well and in between the back, and because those are going to be in shadow, so you need to have that dark background in there when you paint over it, so that it'll look like it's in shadow. There we go. That's a little easier to get in. Move the miniature around so I can get a better angle at it. Yep. The Phoenix, it's the bird of rebirth. There's little rings on her boots. Those little, the inside of the ring there, it's going to be a little darker than. Also, there's some like pocket things that I'm trying to, where there's an edge to things, so that it kind of gives it a line, more darker line. There's a lot of lines on this character. The bottom of her weapon is going to be darker than the top of her weapon. She has red hair, so I'm not going to put any dark color on her head for her hair. All right, next character. This is Nakatomi. It's I knew my friend Mike would want to play Nakatomi. Just something about the name that I knew would attract him to the character. Just about everything on him is black. So, except for the piping on the edges of his coat and inside suit. But other than that, it's going to be all dark. So I just need to spread this everywhere. The only thing that's light is his shirt, inside shirt, like the collar, which barely sticks out. Yeah. The highlights on him are blue, almost like a blue neon color. That should be, that'll make it stand out, make his coat stand out a little bit more than what it looks like right now, or going to look like after I do this. But yeah, make sure you do the undersides. I I know I didn't do the undersides first, but you should probably really start with the undersides, like under the arm, um, under the coat from underneath. And this color isn't totally black, so but it's it's more of a really dark brown. But that's all right. It's close enough. Just need something dark. I'll go over his coat with a real black color. It would have been helpful to use black primer on this character because his outfit is almost completely black. Any neon colors that I would have put on him would stand out against the black. I don't think it would take away from the brightness. His boots are probably black, so I'm going to paint them black too. Just seems like that type of character. The only area I'm going to try to stay away from painting is that white collar. His hair's black pretty much, so it's going to get this. And we just want to get this miniature to a level that's presentable on the table, that's easy to see and distinguish from other characters. If you notice, uh, the underside, I didn't. The underside of his coat is not as well. I kind of missed it, but the angles using the stick method for putting your miniature on, is not as good as having it on a rod of some sort, holding it from the bottom. You just got to make sure you look around, look for any empty spots, and just remember what you painted and what you didn't paint. Easier said than done, I know. But especially like that underneath the coat where his legs are coming out, it's really hard to see in there. So you just have to stick your brush in there and hopefully you get it all. Not that you you know anybody's gonna try to look in there because it's gonna be nigh impossible to look in there. But you want the paint to be completely all around so that it holds better so it doesn't chip off as easily. Okay, I think I got enough on here. I might want to let it just dry off I can add some more paint if I want to after it dries a bit. Okay, I think the dark brown's gonna look good on this guy. Cause try to get it close, but it seems to go out of focus. He has sort of a dark greenish brown gray color to his skin. His outfit is sort of seems to be a dark gray. So I'm gonna look for a dark green color. See what I got in my stash. That's what I'm doing right now. Reaching over into my pile of paints, and I saw one earlier that might fit the. Is it? It's pine green, forest green. Uh, and muddy olive. Might be a little too light though. We'll see. Let's. I think I'll mix maybe the two, or mix it with the black, or that the muddy, the dark brown. See if it comes out. Oh, came out really easy. It's more like an army green, a military green. I thought it was going to be dry, but it came right out. Oh, it doesn't seem to want to come out. Oh, there you go. We just need a little bit. It's only one character, so. Hmm. I was going to go with the dark green, but I'm thinking I might go with the lighter green. But let's start with the darker color first. Mix it in with that super dark brown. Mix them both together, and then add the lighter one a little afterwards. See what it looks like. Oh yeah, looks good. Looks almost black from where you're standing, but it has a little green tint to it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get those tattoo colors going. They're like some mottled patches. They're not really tattoos, but it just like color pattern, mottled color pattern on his arms. I'm gonna do a real light layer with this, using a watery or very thin paint on this. That way I can keep just adding more and more paint in thin layers, make it easier till I get it to where I want it. There you go. Oh, I hope I have enough. Just doing his body, not the clothes he's wearing. He's wearing like some kind of robe of some sort. A robe without oh, well, maybe I will do the whole thing. I need a dark color anyway, so I'll just do the whole thing. I'll just like I'm doing it a really light, thin layer, so so I can always go back and lighten it up to a gray color. Though I don't want to get any of this on his weapon, really. Not the not the greenish color tint to it. Right now I'm using mostly the black there, or the dark, super dark brown. Maybe I should have used a little bit more light on this in this video. Need to do his underside here, because it doesn't matter whether the underside is tinted green or not. Oh, see all that light colored primer. He doesn't really have boots. He has like plates on his feet, armored plates on his shins, really shin plates. Need a better angle there. Oh, there we go. See, sometimes turning the miniature around makes it a little easier. Oh. I'll just hold him by the base. Sometimes it's just easier. Sure, you get your hands full of paint, but if you do enough of them, you'll get hands full of paint. But just a few like this, you're not going to get too much paint on your hands. If you're really worried about keeping your hands unpainted, is wear some gloves, some latex gloves or something. The only thing is when you hold it in your hand, sometimes your hand tends to shake a little too much. But you can reduce that by putting your hand on the table so it doesn't shake as much. There's a lot of details on his weapon. There's like little lines and crevices. So I'm going to put this dark color in there. Make sure it goes on really well. Or at least covers, that way when I go back and cover it with another um, silver or gray metallic color, it'll still have the dark. Hopefully, it'll have the dark lines still showing. All right. Yeah, there's some details there on her axe that need. Oh, I must have used too watery of earlier because it's not very dark at all. A lot of details there that have crevices. Like I said, it's going to be darker underneath, so we want to make sure that's dark. Okay. Oh, and for that matter, there's areas here that need some darkening. The earlier layer I put on was very watery, so it hardly see any dark color to there. Just there's some just lines here and there that I'm just where the metal meets up against the body. There's going to be a little bit of a darkness in there. It's like a 90-degree angle. So, whoop. Underneath their arms. Under the arms tends to be more darker than anywhere else. In between the legs. So. Anything that overhangs is going to be a little darker. Underneath. There's some little dark lines there. I'm just doing like little line areas. She has braids on or something like that. I don't know if you can see that, but all right. Let's not get too carried away here. He has there's some edges here that need to be outlined. Like his weapon has little lines on there. Oh, those spots are a little too light too. Let's get those first. His boots probably should be colored darker. Little lines and there's some dots here and there. I could use some. It's kind of the opposite of highlighting. Highlighting, you put a brighter color, but this is like the reverse. You're putting the shade ahead of time, and then you put on a brighter color later, so that those dark areas can still be seen from after you've brushed on some lighter colors. All right. Like this this paintbrush has a little curl of a tip on it, so supposedly that's not a very good sign of a good paintbrush if it tends to curl. So there's some straight lines that are going through there, and there's little pocket lines on his shoulders. Well, not plate. They're more like where various plates go on. Underneath his little backpack, there's going to be some darkness. All right. I think that looks a little bit better. And we'll get on to some more silvery colors after this. Oh, I see some more lines here and there. See, right there. A couple there. It's going to help bring that out. So it doesn't look all one color when when I go back and cover it. Some plate lines there on the front. They're barely visible, but you can see them if you look closely. So you'll see little lines here and there. You want the grooves that you want to fill in with a little darker shade, because we're going to lighten them up quite a bit. All right. It looks like there might be a little barren spots here. Oh yeah, see, there's a little line there. So, all right, I think finishing this up here. All right, I think that'll do. Let me check this guy out, see if I'm sure I got everything. Oh, the top edge of his collar. It's missing a little. Inside of his boot, missed. You can tell now that it's dry. Lower boots. Oh, I think I'm out of that. I still got a little bit of that dark planked. Oh yeah, that was a little too light there on this jacket. This will make it a little bit darker. He has a white shirt, so I don't want to have it too dark in that area. Here we go. Give you a review it. Yep. Oh yeah, there's a. It is dark in there underneath his chin. So I'll go ahead and fill that in. Leave some primer still showing on where I think is the white shirt. Yeah, I think that's dark enough. That should do it. All right. Well, I'd like to use a different brush when I use metallics. So let me find something that's less newer than my nicer brushes, which are the white ones. Or at least I consider them nicer. Float wheel brush. Sable. Supposed to be pretty good. I don't know if I want to use that. It, seen better days. It's not keeping a tip. The bristles are splayed out. Very hard to get it into the cover here. Oh, caught one of the hairs. Yeah, it's not. The hairs aren't staying together like they should. I bought that float quill a long time ago. From the really early days when I bought float quill paints at a hobby store. So that brush is over 30 years old. And that one's a Citadel brush. That red one. I think I will use that one. Okay, we'll use that adamantium black. Oh yeah, that is pretty shiny. Oh no, it's not adamantium, it's blackened steel. Sorry. I think the brush is from a starter set that I picked up somewhere. Because I only seem to have one. Okay, so I want to just start with very light touch so I don't cover up the lines, the black lines that separate the plates of the armor. That way it still has some good you see some good details from the delineation of the black lines. I'll add a little water to thin it out a little bit. I try to take as much water out. I put water in and try to take water out, but now it's real thinned out, so I'm not too worried about it. Seems to be going on pretty good. Add a little, oh, that's up there on the wet palette is adamantium black, I believe. Kind of mix it together, give it a little darker shade. Black and steel is pretty light. So I'm going against the lines, the directions of the lines, so that the black will continue to show up. So that the black will provide creases where they should be, instead of the whole thing looking all silver, completely silver. It'll have some kind of form when you look at it. Okay, using that dark brown to try to muddy it up and darken it a little. After all, his armor is supposed to be used, not brand new. Sometimes it feels like it's drying out, but you just have to test your brush somewhere to make sure you see how it's coming down or coming off of the bristles. Usually on Labor Day weekends, I like to go to a convention called Pacificon down in San Francisco Bay Area. Actually, it's the first convention I ever went to, which is called Pacificon. And although it's not the original company, it got bought out by another company which now runs it. But it's just too much money to, when you got to pay taxes, and you have to decide what your budget is for the year and just try to stick to it. Not to mention it's already been a lot of driving this year for me. Had to go down for some birthday parties and such. So, family reunions down to long 12-hour drives. And that's just one way. But it's a lot of fun. That's looking pretty good. Again, there's the miniatures for Secrets of the Lost Station. See what we'll do next. Feonix has a lot of
mm, steel or metal looking armor, so we'll put some of this on her. Let's get some water on there. Keep the brush wet. Hopefully we won't overdo it. Yeah, just about everything on her except for those red highlights is a gray steel metallic look. So we'll try to avoid those areas that have that red. Those red that are going to get the red highlights later on. But everything else is going to get this metal color. At this point, it's a little easier to just use my hands. Well, maybe not. Keep dropping it. Oh. Although this metallic color is a little dark, I'll go again over it with some highlights to bring out the edges. So as you can tell, she seems to have a broken wing or something, or appendage that's not there. Seems to be missing. That's the way the model came. As far as I'm aware of, it's not broken. So her axe there looks like it's made out of all metal almost, or some kind of silvery. Could be a composite, but I suppose and just happens to be silvery in color. Maybe to give it that metallic look. If it was too colorful, it may not look fearsome enough. Okay. So even though I'm painting the bottom over the black, it'll still look a lot darker underneath the silver color. And then on the top, I'm going to highlight it some more. So it'll be even brighter on top. One of the techniques to make things look like super bright is to use a white color in a very thin, on the corners, a very thin line of white, and that will make it look like it's shining, which I intend to do on the edges of what she's wearing. Okay. Fortunately, well, I attached the camera to the table end, and that's what's making it shake. But it stabilizes fairly quickly. Yeah. So even if I go over the areas that should be red, it's won't be a problem, because I'm gonna be a little bit more particular with the red, a little bit more less sloppy. Excuse me. Don't forget the boots. They don't really show the boots, but we can assume that they're probably metallic color. And I'll probably use a more matte gray when I go over it, just to show a little bit of wear on some areas. It'll be a thin layer, so you'll still see a little bit of shine. Oops, you'll still see a little bit of shine coming through. Two down. Let's see who's next. Well, Nakatomi doesn't really have any metal to speak of. So let's move on to Balthazar, which is a good thing because I don't have too much of that silver left. Hopefully we can get it to stretch. Hmm. Oh, I guess I'm not going to do the middle. I'm going to go with that green first. What am I doing? Whoa! That wasn't too smart. Anyway, you can see all the different tips that are available. Some are longer than others, some of them are shorter, some are a little squared off, some are more rounded, some of them are more pointy than others. So, but that's the pack that comes. There's a dozen, I believe. Yeah, they're priced really well. I think they're called Pegasus. I think they're sold by Artscape on Amazon. They seem to work really well. Okay, just seem to spill water everywhere. Oh, I need some more paper. Okay, here we go. Let's do some light green here. We could always darken it if we need to. This will hopefully be very light. Very watery, I'm hoping. Well, that's what I'm going for. His head doesn't really look that green, but his arms definitely have a tinted green tint to them. Hopefully you can see the difference. Parts of his legs are showing. His feet are definitely showing. He has plates on there, on his, like shin plates or something. I'm putting a lot of green around. It can be covered up if I overdo it. It's very light anyway. As you can see, I've gotten rid of the model holder just because it's so difficult to use it, because they don't really hold on that well. His claws are definitely sticking out. I don't know if I'm going to do it in a light colored claw. You know, the like a cat's claws are whitish. Although, you know, there's definitely animals that have black claws. But everything's so dark. I'm thinking of maybe doing some light tints here and there. Especially, you know, if I put it on the claws, then that'll show up. His feet will show up a little bit more. Oops. Ah! That's what YouTubers do. Flip their minis all over the place. Hey, if you're not making mistakes, you're not. There's no room to improve, right? I was thinking the other day, they say practice makes perfect. And to me, practice makes improvement. That's what practice does. The more you do something, the more you improve. Well, for some people, the improvement's slight. For others, it's a lot. But it also depends on your level of understanding and your level of interest or dedication, so to speak. Hmm. I think he needs more black than anything else. But I think I'll go with painting the flesh colors on the humans or humanoid. I believe Feonix is not human. She's an alien of some sort. She has a very pale color to her. So she'll be a shade lighter, and this guy here will be a shade darker. Hmm. It's oiled leather and golden skin. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's kind of a pale color, huh? Very light color, almost grayish cream color. Yeah, definitely be a very light color. Got a very finely pointed brush for the faces, because the area is very, very small. Try not to put it on too heavy. Keep it wet so it spreads around real easily. Remember, we're going to do thin layers, and then if we need to, we can go back and cover it some more. The sharp point makes it easier to get to the points where you want to get to without crossing onto like the hair area or too far down the collar. Oh, see how it kind of globbed on there? So I put some water on there so it helps spread it around. There we go. Already he's looking pretty good. And of course, his hands are, oh, the back, yeah. And don't forget the ears. Sometimes they're not. In this case, his ears are visible. The hair is not covering his ears. So, but you got to pay close attention just to determine whether the hair is covering the ears or not. Just okay. Let's get another visual on his neck area. See how far down we need to go. Okay, trying to thin it out. Okay, especially the back of the neck areas. That fine point is very helpful for that. Oh, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to try to avoid getting it on her hair if possible. Sure you spread it around nice and evenly. Don't try to glob it in one spot. If it does, use some water on the brush to spread it out or take it off, or just use a dry brush and pull it off. I like to use a somewhat moist brush. Let's take a look and see. Oh, she has a head plate. Like, that's all right. It's metal, and I can. This is a light color, so it won't be too bad. But we'll paint the head plate metallic afterwards. And if you over paint onto other areas, then it's not a big deal. This color seems a little too light for this character. Seems to have a slightly darker complexion, so I'm going to go with this oiled leather. Maybe mix the two if need be. There you go. Don't need a lot. Definitely darker than the golden skin. It's this is going on really good. I'm not even mixing the two. But I like trying, I like experimenting, so I may still mix it. Oh, I see his ear sticking out right there. So usually when they have a character with one ear sticking out, the other one's going to be visible also. That's a nice color for him. A little darker than the other two. It's just a shade darker. Okay. Sure it gets all the way around. Oh, I think I made it a little too watery or something. You don't see the back of his neck too much. Probably because of the white shirt he's wearing. As they say, good enough. Tabletop quality. I gotta stop messing with it. I think I'm taking the paint off. Like I said earlier, good enough. Alright. Oh, how about his hands? I forgot to do the hands on those other guys too. This thumb is really pressed up against the coat. The other hand's in the pocket. And Balthazar, well, he doesn't have pale skin like the rest of them. Okay, I'm gonna mix it a little bit for her because she looks really pale. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna do her hands first before I run out of paint. trying not to cover up the creases in her between her fingers. Oops. All right. Oh, and of course I forgot his hands. Sometimes it's hard doing the hands that are gripping a weapon because it's really easy to overpaint. Sometimes their fingers are open and not closed together. So be a little bit, oops, be a little bit more careful near the weapons when they're holding, or anything a miniature is holding. Make sure you don't make it too watery. You want it to flow, but not too much, because otherwise it'll flow right onto the weapon or whatever object they're carrying. But sometimes you need it watery to get into those areas that are hard to reach. But then again, those areas that are hard to reach probably won't be seen anyway. All right. I think I'm going to darken his face, his facial skin. He's starting to look a little pale there. Feonix is a lot more pale than the rest of them. So, and give him a little more leather look to him. There we go. Pretty good. Make sure you get around the neck. The neck's going to be a little darker. I think I should probably stop messing with it. Oh, I found his ear. There it is. That's all the skin's showing. So I think that'll do it for tonight. Make sure you clean your brushes right away. Don't let them sit overnight. That's the worst thing you can do for your tools. Mine have lasted a long time because I'm always cleaning them after I use them, and I don't wait 2 or 3 hours later. We're on our way here. That much closer. Those are 2 more characters that can be played in the game, and I'll have to primer them first and start on them too. All right. Good night. Be nice to each other out there.